do I have advice for how to navigate
Uncertainty.
uncertainty? The advice is basically the same, and that is to get still with yourself and ask yourself, this is really one of the most important questions anyone can ask in life. And men are really good at this, and women not so much, just because of the way we've all been socialized. Hopefully, in generations to come, women will be able to handle this question from the time they're 10. What do I really want? What do I really want? Not what do I think I should do, but what do I want to do? Big difference, right? Big difference. So after my show, all those years, I would sit with the audience and we would talk. This happened after the first 10 years, because the first 10 years I signed autographs, because that's what I thought the audience wanted. And then one day I had to go to the gynecologist. That's the one thing you can't get an assistant to do for you. I had to go myself. And it was in the middle of the day, and I was doing 2 shows a day. So when I come back from doing the second show, come back from the gynecologist, I'm gonna do the second show, I didn't shake hands and do autographs with the 350 people in the audience, which usually took me an hour to an hour and a half every day in between shows. And I did that for 10 years, just because I thought that's what everybody else wanted. And then on that day I came back, I was like, I have so much energy for this second show, I'm not gonna do that anymore. They said, how are you gonna do that? How are you not gonna sign autographs? I said, I'm gonna think about what I actually want to do. What do I want to do? Because for 10 years I didn't want to do autographs. And I thought, what I really want to do is to sit with people and find out why you came here. I want to find out who your children are, who your friends are. I want to find out why you watch the show. I want to find out what you want to see on the show. So after every show, Hillary, I would sit for sometimes a half an hour, sometimes 40 minutes before we brought in the second audience. And then the second audience, we would spend an hour, hour and a half after the show talking about whatever was going on in their lives. And that's why the show was so relevant and relatable, because those audiences became my own personal focus group. Those audiences were telling me what was going on in their lives. And the women were saying to me, look, we've done everything right. This was like 90s, mid-90s. We've done everything right. We went to school, we had the children, we did all the things, and everybody told us we could have it all, but it feels like there's something more. And so I said to my producers, everybody keeps talking about there's something more, there needs to be something more. We need to figure out what that something more is. And so what we concluded was that there's a root of well-being that's missing. That what women are really looking for was something that grounded them in their own personal journey of purpose. And so we started doing Remembering Your Spirit. Like a little 5-minute segment on the show talking about spirituality and taking care of yourself and putting yourself on your list. And the very first time I did this in 1992, I remember the woman who was on with Cheryl Richardson was a life coach, and she said, where are you on the list of the top 10 things that need to be done and get done in your life? And so we had the audience fill out the little form, and none of the women were even on their list or at the bottom of the list. This is in 1992. And when Cheryl Richardson, life coach, said in 1992 to an audience of women, you need to put yourself first on the list, the entire audience booed her. They all just went, boo! What is she talking about? She doesn't know what she said. She doesn't have children, Oprah, because nobody says put yourself first on the list if you have children. I said, she didn't say abandon your children and leave them in the street. In 1992, the idea of putting yourself even on the list was a foreign concept, because the idea of taking care of yourself, giving yourself the oxygen mask, making sure you are well. And I used to have this great fear, no longer, but this great fear of people thinking I was full of myself. That, oh, they're going to think that because now she's, I come from nothing, but now she thinks she's something because they think she's full of yourself. Now, I know I'm not only full of myself, my cup runneth over. And this is what you want. You want your cup running over so that you have enough to give to all the other people who need it. You can't, if your cup is half empty, if you're on half empty, you're going to run out. And so leave this space and fill your cup. Fill your cup. Because your life, none of us are getting any younger. The thing about being 71 is you don't have as much time left here as you have had. Same thing is true if you're 50, you're hitting 50. You're not going to have as much time. I don't care what AI says. Okay? We're all going to have to wrap it up at some point. And you want to know that this is the one thing that I have in common with everybody in the world. And you have in common with everybody in the world. Because we all want the same thing. So when you see somebody out there in the world misbehaving and acting out, know that they are searching for the same thing that you're searching for. And we all want the same thing. And that is, you want to be able to live out the truest, highest expression of yourself as a human being. Is that not true? That's what you're striving for. What is the truest, purest, highest expression of you? What do you really want? And when you decide that with clarity and purity for yourself, that comes from a non-ego space. It comes from, I want to align with what the universe's dream is for me. You will rise and meet the rising of your life. I will tell you that the forces of life, whatever you choose to call them, have a bigger dream for you than you can even imagine. Because I lived that dream. I remember my father was dying, summer 2022. We're sitting on the porch, just 3 days